What's up? It's Rob Cressy, and today I want to help. And I saw a tweet from Katie Nolan on Twitter last night that said, does anyone on here know anyone who is absolutely nailing work-life balance? And if so, sum up like how? And I saw this, and I'm someone that I would consider does an extremely good job of work-life balance. So I wanted to help Katie. Katie's extremely talented. I love what she creates. So I'm doing this for her, but I'm also doing this for anyone that's out there that may be struggling with work-life balance or wants to have a different perspective on how you can create that for yourself. And to sort of and this to give even more context, I looked into her thread to see what else she was saying. And one of the things she said is, my problem is when I'm not working, I feel dead. My spark feels like it goes out. I think I made my life my job, and now I can't tell them apart. It's like, all right, cool. That's great framing of all of this. And what I'm really going to do right now is put on my coaching hat and share how I would create this and or help someone who is in Katie's situation. So what I do when it relates to work-life balance is I practice self-cultivation. So it starts at the very beginning. We've got to get to the root of this because work-life balance essentially says that, all right, well, I need some sort of balance between how I show up to work and how I show up to life and what that looks like. What is that balance? And so often I find that, do people even define what it is that that balance looks like? And when Katie mentioned, I think I've made my job, I made my life my job, and now I can't tell them apart. So to me, I hear, oh, this is an identity thing, that I am my job and I am that my job is my life. And that becomes the identity. So what happens when all of a sudden that job is gone and your entire life and identity were wrapped up into that job? So getting to the root of this, it comes down to who you are in creating your being. And this is something that I've had to learn over the last decade and almost more recently over the last few years, that this is something that has been super important in my life. And I relate to Katie because I'm a creator. I understand what it is also like to love what you're doing and create a lot, and then all of a sudden it goes away. I have numerous instances in my life in which I've worked with a client doing a dream project where I've worked so hard just to get to that point, and I'm doing everything amazing and it's going well, and then poof, it goes away, and you're like, oh my goodness, I just feel this despair inside and this emptiness. So when Katie says, when I'm not working, I feel dead, I understand that, where you wake up in the morning and you just don't have that spark. And one of the things that I've experienced before is how a prolific creator can struggle to create, where you wake up in the morning and people pay you to not only create, but I teach and coach other people how to create. And then an experience happens and you're just like, I just don't feel like it. And this is a feelings thing. It's like, oh, wait a second, let's dig deeper there. So here is my process for my answer for how to nail work-life balance and the process for doing so. And it starts with the practice of self-cultivation. And what that means is creating who you are. And for me, when I wake up every single morning, the most important part of my day is declaring and creating who I am. And it is a series of I am declarations that I speak out loud into existence. And I feel them into my body. And actually, I'll share this with you to give even more context. Let me get this bad boy up here. All right. So hopefully I can share this on my screen for those that are watching on video. All right. Work-life balance, Katie Nolan. Boom. All right, so here we have, this is my document that I use called What I Am and What I Have, Self-Love and Vision. And the process for this is to say, all right, well, you don't want to be attached to your job being who you are. Who are you really? And you start with a very simple statement. I am blank. And you fill in the blank. And you think about a powerful and positive statement that you know to be true about yourself. So, for example, my first one, I am full of love. Well, why in the world do I say that? Because I am truly full of love. So what I do is I speak it out loud, and then I feel into this, and I'm like, I love my wife, and I love my family, and I love my dog, and I love the opportunities that are in front of me, and I feel that love, and I love creating, and I love helping other people. And boom, I feel that in my body, so I create that into myself. So boom, I'm full of love. And then I go through in so many different areas of my life. This isn't just one bucket. This is who I am in my loins. How do I show up? And that's the key to this is, how are you showing up every single day? For me, I show up as the best version of myself every single day, and I've got a process for how I make that happen. It is cultivation. And I've gotten to the point where this process is the most important part of my day above everything else, above work or anything, creating who I am. And why is that? Because it is how I walk around every day. It's the lens in which I see the world. It is my perspective. And what I am sharing here is not an absolute. This is my own experience, and it works for me, and maybe it can work for you. Maybe you've got your own version. But when someone says, hey, who's doing a good job of work-life balance? Boom, I start with me, because I start with me. And that's the key to all of this is you need to prioritize yourself first. What do you do? What is your boot sequence like to create you into the best version of yourself? That way, when you go out into the world, you know who you are, and you are not dictated by the circumstances of the world, because we know that life is going to be a roller coaster like this. But inevitably, there's good times and there's bad times. And no matter what, guess what? I am full of love. And then here's another one. I am supported. And when I think about this, I think about my family. I think about my accountability partners. I think about the people who support my podcast and my content. And I feel into this, and I'm like, wow, I can feel the support every single day, because I know the feeling that Katie's talking about. And when you feel dead inside, you're focusing on something else instead of the things that you know are true to who you are. Because Katie is one of the most powerful, prolific creators in the world. She's amazing at what she does. She's funny. I've loved following her entire journey. So I know when I look from my outside onto Katie, the number of things that I could say that I see in her. There's just so many good things about Katie. The way she makes people laugh, the way that her smile is infectious to the other people when you consume her content, and the way she makes the world a better place. And these are all things that every single day, imagine if she or you read and declared these things, and you think about your best moments. So that's sort of an overview. And I've got things like, I am a champion for everyone. And the reason I am doing this podcast or this video right now is because I am a champion for everyone. I am a champion for Katie Nolan. I am a champion for you. And I think back to foundationally why I do what I do. If there is something inside of you that can help even one person, it is my duty to share it with them. And that's why I create, and that's why I coach, and that's why I help. And I want to help her because I know the gift that this can be to get out of that place, because I've been in that place and I've transformed myself. And it's all about a perspective. This costs no dollars. And this is something that is anchored in self-love and vision. And that's the thing is, when you have something that you love and it goes away, then we're thinking about the past and not in the present or not in the future. and you constantly want to anchor yourself in who I am. And that's what this is really about, is creating who you are on a daily basis. So let's get to the next part of this right here is, all right, so now that you've created your list, so what I recommend is spend 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and be intentional about writing down these positive statements about yourself that are the best version of yourself, the most powerful statements. Cool. The ones that you look at that and you're like, of course, I am definitely that. Boom. We want that every single day to be part of your being. So then the next part of this is the process for how you do it. And consistency is so important. So we know these things about ourselves, but do we declare them every single day? And the simplest example that I can give is when I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I say every single day is, today is going to be a great day. I repeated that every single day, multiple times a day for the last decade. Can you guess who has more great days than just about anybody else in the world? Me. Why? Because I set the intention every single day of today is going to be a great day. So as it relates to cultivating and creating your being, the same rings true. When you say to yourself, I am abundantly generous, and you speak it out loud and you close your eyes and you think about the time last week in which you gave the pizza person a tip, or you went and got your boyfriend or girlfriend a glass of water when you were sitting on the couch and you didn't want to. I am abundantly generous. Boom. You've collected evidence in the world in which this is true. Great. Now let's use that to create who you are. Boom. I'm abundantly generous. I feel that. I move on to the next thing. So now you've created these lists of powerful statements that are who you are. And now you rinse and repeat this every single day. And in my instance, I do it in the morning within the first hour of me being up. And why? Because now no matter what else happens the rest of the day, I've created who I am and who I know to be. And here's what's important here. What we are not talking about right now is work-life balance. What we are talking about is who you are and your ability to create yourself. Because we started with work identity and life identity. And the key is there is no distinction on who you are. Those are just things that you do or ways that you walk around and process the world. For me, what is most important is my being, my inside, my lens in which I see the world. Everything else out there is secondary. So the next part of this is this hard? Well, the feeling that Katie and so many people are feeling around work-life balance, it is a very hard feeling. It is a heavy feeling. I know this from experience. There's a weight that you can feel on your chest where you're just like, this is never leaving me because I was so attached and in love with what I was doing because I was this. And you may see yourself as the best version of yourself or the happiest version of yourself when you are working. Or for a lot of people, the same can be true for a relationship because both are as extreme or as passionate the way that you work or the way that you are in a relationship with someone. When all of a sudden that's gone, you feel like you've lost your identity and you don't know how to get that spark, as Katie says, back to you. And once again, I will say that we do not want to put our identity on someone or something else because it can and will go away. And we all realize this. We want to have the perspective of I am creating, I am in charge. And certainly for anyone out there who is a creator, this should speak your language because we create out into the world podcasts, videos, conversations, but more importantly, how do you create yourself? And I find that most people, step one, don't do this at all. Step two, don't have a process for it. And step three, are not consistent about their process for how they create themselves so that they can show up in the world as the happiest, most successful, most creative version of themselves. So if we're just speaking about creativity, I'd be like, cool, let's create an I am declaration which speaks to the best version of your creativity. And for me, I am in flow. And when I think about being in flow, I think about me, the creator. And even what I'm creating right now is a great example of it. I'm not sitting here looking at my watch or counting how long this is. Boom, I am loving this. I am in flow. I'm just lost in what I do. To me, that is the best version of me as a creator. And quite frankly, that's the best version of me in my life. And I think about all of the instances in life in which I'm not even concerned about time whatsoever, because time is just a metric. I want to be lost in what I do. So I wake up every single day and I'm like, I am in flow. And I feel myself living in this timeless world, in creating in the time in which I was in flow yesterday, or even in that moment. Because of course, that first hour of my day, I'm in flow because I'm not looking at the clock. I'm creating myself. I'm self-cultivating. So that's why a lot of people find this to be hard or difficult, because the focus is misplaced, because they don't have the thing that can help unlock that for them, because we're so used to being on that hamster wheel of go, 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 go. We're on somebody else's schedule. And even if you're doing what you love, Rob, there just isn't enough time. All right, here's another declaration that can help you. I am that I have more than enough time to get everything done. And why in the world did I create that? Because one of the excuses that I would say to myself, and I hear on a regular basis from virtually every person in the world, I just don't have enough time. All right, well, that's stupid. If we all know that we have this excuse, I don't have enough time. Think to yourself, how many times have you verbalized that today, this week, this month, or this year? I guarantee it's at least once where you've said, I don't have enough time. Well, guess what? If we know that's an excuse we're going to make, what can we do? All right, how do you overcome the mindset of, I don't have enough time? Because that's just a load of crap. We have unlimited time. You're born and then you die. Everything else in between there is unlimited. It's a matter of how you choose to use it. So I decided to take time excuse off the table by saying, I am that I have more than enough time to get everything done. Because guess what? The excuse of I don't have enough time is actually just masquerading you saying, you know what? I'm actually just not being intentional enough with my action. I'm not prioritizing better, because we have so many things that we want to do. But if something is important enough, you will find time to make it happen. So therefore, time is just masquerading as an excuse. Boom. Throw that out the window. That is not part of my being. I am not showing up in the world as someone who says, I don't have enough time. I'm showing up in the world as someone who says, I have more than enough time. And that is like this freeing weight of a 10,000-pound gorilla off your chest. When you wake up in the world and your lens says, I have unlimited time, and then I am in flow where I'm not even noticing time. And I'm abundantly generous, and I am full of love. And you can see how all of these statements that are true in my life come true in the manifestation of my, as we started, work-life balance. Because for me, creating who I am is the most important part of my life, because everything else that happens after that always was in the framework of who I already know who I am. So what I really want to do to sort of put a button on this is for you to think about your identity of who I am, and start with those two words. I am blank, and then fill in the blank and keep going. And I want you to create the powerful version of this, not the just, oh, I am good. No, not I am good. I am rich in all areas of my life. Boom, you're declaring this. You're on stage and being like, this is who I am. And you know it and you feel it. So when I say I am rich in all areas of my life, I'm like my health, my wealth, my love, my happiness. And I'm like, I am rich in all areas of my life. Boom, moving on to the next. So that's how I have created this so-called work-life balance in the process for it. And when I do this, it allows me to show up in a certain way where I can create the world constantly however I want. So I hope this helps you, or I hope this helps Katie. I wanted to share this because this is something that has truly been a gift for me in my life. It's a process that I do. It's essentially foundational to the way that I coach people to create whatever it is that they want in their life, because we always need to start with who we are and who are we being that gets us or does not get us the results or the things that we want to create in our life. And if any of this resonated with you, I've got some resources that I can help you out with. I'll drop them in the show notes. One, I created a guide to creating a morning routine that serves you. Design your best self. So there's a theme you're going to hear with me. All right, well, how do you create a very happy, successful, fulfilled life? Well, it starts first thing in the morning, because how you start your day will dictate the rest of the day. So I'll drop the link to that. You can also go to robcressy.com. That resource is there. And then alternatively, if this really resonated with you, I encourage you to be in conversation with me. I love doing this. I love helping. And that's what I do in my coaching sessions, where I am a champion for you. And think about your life. Who is there on a daily basis that is there to support you and is a champion for whatever it is that you want to create? That's what I do. That's how I show up for my clients every single day. I'm a champion for you, and I'm going to help you create whatever it is that you want to create. So let's create some perspectives and ways of being that can get you more of what you want and less of the things that you don't. You can also email me, rob@robcressy.com, or drop me a line on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn @RobCressy. Sending tons of good vibes your way. Hope you have yourself an amazing rest of the day.